All right, so we've got this really interesting story you sent over, and well, it's about this Nigerian socialite Hushpuppi, and these musicians Phyno and Timaya,
Yeah.
and this whole thing, it really gets into how fickle fortune can be, and I think this kind of resonates with you and me both.
Oh, for sure. For sure. The podcast episode you shared, I mean, the whole thing about how quickly life can change, especially when you're living it out so publicly online. I mean, it was really fascinating to
Yeah.
see those shifts in status and how everybody reacted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's start with the basics here, right?
Yeah.
Like, who is Hushpuppi? I mean, this guy was like the poster child for living large online.
Totally.
Designer clothes out the wazoo,
Oh, yeah.
jewelry that could blind you,
hmm
private jets like they were taxis. I mean, and cars. Don't even get me started on the cars.
He was a constant display of wealth. Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't just about the money. It was how he presented himself.
Yeah.
Like, there's this air of arrogance about it all.
That's exactly it. And I think that's really important to understand this whole situation because, like you said, it wasn't just about him showing off.
Right.
It was about him looking down on others. And that becomes especially clear when you look at what he was saying about Phyno and Timaya.
Yeah, so like these are two massive names in Nigerian music, right?
Yeah.
And they just kind of got caught in Hushpuppi's crosshairs for no reason.
It seemed that way from the source, yeah.
Yeah, he would like constantly bash their fashion choices, called their clothes Ubba made.
Which implies they're fake.
Exactly, fake or just cheap. But
Oh.
it didn't stop there. He'd go after their music too,
Right.
saying their time was over, like they were washed up.
And he was so blatant about it, too.
Yeah.
Like, he would go on Instagram Live just to make fun of them.
Yeah. It's kind of wild to go after such big names so directly.
Yeah, it really shows how confident he was, maybe too confident. Like, all that perceived success really went to his head.
Yeah.
And the podcast you shared, it pointed out how he used his platform to not just show off his lifestyle, but to actively tear others down.
Yeah.
Almost like he thought it would make him look even better.
Okay, so fast forward to now, right? Things have changed a lot for Hushpuppi.
Drastically.
Like that whole high-flying image,
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
He's actually in prison now.
Convicted of internet fraud.
Yep. No more private jets.
Yeah.
No more fancy cars. And it's like the same internet that made him famous is now watching his downfall.
You know, that's one of the things the podcast really hit on.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you chase online validation and wealth and it crosses that line into illegal activity, there can be some serious consequences. And now it's all playing out for everyone to see.
It's a pretty stark reminder.
Yeah.
So while all that's happening with Hushpuppi, Phyno, well, he's continued to do his thing, actually just released a new album called Full-Time Job. And here's where things take a wild turn.
Okay, lay it on me.
He features Hushpuppi on one of the tracks.
Whoa.
I know, right?
That's the part that really jumped out at me.
Oh.
To feature someone who'd been so critical of you. I mean, what's the motivation there? And what kind of message does it send?
Exactly. So obviously Hushpuppi couldn't exactly walk into his studio and lay down a verse.
Right, of course.
It's a voice note
A voice note.
from prison. And according to the podcast, it's pretty emotional.
Interesting.
Like, he's giving advice to anyone who might have looked up to his old lifestyle, telling them to be really careful with their choices. A total 180 from how he used to be online.
That's powerful. It's like all that bragging and arrogance is gone.
Yeah.
And now he's speaking from experience, warning others about the consequences. It adds this whole other layer to Phyno's album.
But here's the kicker. And this is what blew my mind. Phyno and his management decided to give Hushpuppi 40% of the revenue from that song.
Seriously?
Yeah, this is the guy who publicly mocked him, and now he's sharing a huge chunk of his earnings.
That is wild. It makes you think, doesn't it? About how we respond to people who have wronged us. Most people would want revenge, or at least to cut ties completely. But Phyno does the opposite. It almost seems like he's prioritizing something bigger than just holding on to the past. And the source doesn't really try to explain his thinking, which is kind of fascinating.
Yeah, it leaves you wondering. So what's really interesting is that the song is doing really well. I mean, it's topping charts on Spotify, Audio Mac, Boomplay, Apple Music.
Yeah.
Like everywhere. The podcast mentioned it's already passed 1 million streams,
Ah.
and it's not slowing down.
It seems like there's something about this whole situation that really resonates with people.
Definitely.
It's not just the music, it's the story behind it.
Yeah, it's the whole package. It's
Mhm.
about those unexpected turns in life. It's about second chances. And it's about how sometimes people surprise you with their actions. So what do you think? What are the big takeaways for you from this story?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is just how unpredictable life can be. I mean, look at Hushpuppi. One minute he's on top of the world, the next he's behind bars. It's a reminder that things can change in an instant, and that we should be careful about how we treat people, especially when they're down, because it could easily be us in their shoes tomorrow.
And for me, the other thing is the power of forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Phyno didn't have to do anything for Hushpuppi.
Right.
He could have just watched him fall.
Yeah.
But instead, he chose to show compassion. And that, to me, speaks volumes about his character.
Mm.
It really makes you think about what true success is, right? Is it about all the money and the fame?
Mm. Mm.
Or is it about how you treat people, even those who have wronged you?
That's a good question. So after hearing all this, what are your thoughts? It seems like this whole thing about success and how fleeting it can be, it's something you've always been interested in. Does the story change anything for you?
It definitely gives me more to think about. You know what really sticks with me?
What's that?
Well, it's how Phyno acted. Like, in a world where it feels like everyone's just trying to climb over each other, he did something selfless. He helped someone who didn't deserve it. And it makes you wonder, was it a calculated move?
Maybe.
Or was it genuine kindness? And does it even matter if the end result is something positive?
That's a good question. It's something to think about for sure.
It is. It really is.